Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the president of Youngstown State University, Coach Jim Tressel.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Ohio's Mahoning Valley, an exciting day, the unveiling of America's first all-electric pickup truck made by Lordstown Motors, the Endurance. It's been so much fun to get to know this great team from Lordstown Motors. A lot of people out here in the audience, our elected officials, our business leaders, our citizens in general, thank you so much for all of your encouragement to this team. Thank you for being there for each and every one of them. And I know this is a special day for all of us right here in the Mahoning Valley, Northeast Ohio, the state of Ohio, and our nation. For those of you streaming in from all over the world, the future of the Mahoning Valley is an exciting future. And we're so excited about today's festivities. We've got a great lineup for you today. It's been a lot of fun getting to know this team that the Lordstown Motors have put together. Extraordinary engineers, business leaders, working together. They've done extraordinary things in such a short time. We were all excited when it was announced that they were coming. We had no idea how quickly we would move to this day. We want to thank all of the people who have come to our valley to spend time and encourage us, speak with us, talk to us about how impactful this will be for the future of our region, state, and nation. It's going to be an exciting day. We thank you for being here. I would like to introduce the first speaker we have today. You may have noticed when you came in flying overhead, the Goodyear blimp. Ohio has a long history. How about a hand for the Goodyear blimp? That's what I'm talking about. Ohio has a long history of innovation. And one of the most innovative companies that we're fortunate to have right here, headquartered, world headquarters here in Northeast Ohio, the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Please help me to welcome Aaron Spring, the Director of New Ventures at Goodyear.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you to the Lordstown Motors team, and thank you to all of you who are watching online, but all of you in the room here who are leaning in and helping to accelerate the next generation of mobility. I'm honored to be here along with, as Jim said, the iconic Goodyear blimp flying overhead, and this is a great day for Ohio manufacturing, innovation, and technology. Now, Goodyear has called Ohio home for more than 120 years, 122 to be specific. And it's these shared Ohio roots that form the basis of a great collaboration between Lordstown Motors and Goodyear. And it doesn't stop there. We share values of performance, technology, innovation, and an eye towards a more sustainable electric future. The Endurance pickup exemplifies these values. So I want to say a big congratulations to the Lordstown Motors team. Now I have to say, the Endurance is a great example of style, design, advanced engineering, and most importantly, a vehicle that has been designed for commercial fleets to make sure they can get those jobs done well. And okay, I might be a bit biased, but the the tires really pull it all together. So you gotta check it out. Now at Goodyear, our goal and objective is to be the tire and service provider of choice for electric vehicles. And this collaboration with Lordstown Motors is a great example of striving towards that strategy. So thank you all once again. I really look forward to continuing this great collaboration with the team at Lordstown as we drive for the next generation of mobility. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and to all of our friends at Goodyear. It's an exciting partnership. We really would have liked to have you had the opportunity to tour the plant. Something like 6.2 million square feet. Right now, Lordstown Motor Company is working on, I think, about 30% of it already and continuing to grow and grow. So instead of that tour, how about enjoying a short video about this wonderful plant?
This physical plant we have that for 53 years made vehicles 7 days a week here. This plant has produced 400,000 vehicles a year. There's very few plants on planet Earth that have built as many vehicles as this. It's a gem of a building. The plant itself is very, very capable. It's very modern. Even though it's 53 years old, it's got modern equipment. It has robots, it has stamping machines, all the welders, a very modern paint booth. It has the assembly line that enables high volume production. We're able to retool this and reconfigure it for our purposes to make electric pickup trucks here. The stamping press is where it all starts. Raw metal comes into the back of this building, off of the train tracks. And these machines start to stamp it into the bare parts. Next, the robots get it, and they start to weld it into the structure. And then it gets dipped. Then it gets assembled. It's mostly workers on a line, a moving line, very automated line, where every bolt is tracked. Every torque wrench, it's tracked, and it bubbles up to the servers. And that infrastructure and the total kind of man-machine interface that this machine of a plant has made, and for us to just reconfigure it, right? If we were to build this from scratch, it just wouldn't be possible. They aren't going to make buildings like this again. And so we're taking it, we're reconfiguring it for our purposes, and we've been really pleased with the equipment here and the resources we've been able to find here. To produce a vehicle is not trivial, and no matter what kind of vehicle it is, it still has a steering wheel and seats and seat belts and airbags and doors, door handles and windows and windshields. And that takes to do that every time the same quality and to do it at a good economical price point. Takes a lot of automation and a lot of people. And this plant has been perfect for us. I'm Steve Burns. This is Lordstown Motors.
How about that? How fortunate are we right here in the valley to have a facility like this? When this opportunity came to be that this facility was available, the people that went to work, whether it was our elected officials in the federal and state and local levels, or the local business community, or just the people encouraging that we've got to make something great happen in this facility. It's been a joy to watch, and that collaboration has brought us to this day. The voice you heard was Steve Burns. We are so fortunate in this valley and in this state and country to have Steve Burns. He's got unbelievable tenacity, and I realized, I guess he was a pretty good wrestler at one point in time, so I can see why he has that tenacity. Graduate of Cincinnati Moeller High School, went on to the Ohio State University studying electrical engineering, went out and began an innovative entrepreneurial career that has been extraordinary. Coming up with innovation, building up companies, selling them. I'm sure most of you remember when mobile voice control was invented, which became Siri. That's Steve Burns. That's the type of innovator we have right here in the Mahoning Valley in this wonderful plant. But perhaps the thing that has been most impressive as we've watched him come in such a quick time to take on this dream to make his home state the center of the electrification of first the pickup truck and then beyond. He has put together a team of people with experiences all over the world, with experiences of putting plants together, making plants better, making efficiencies better, making ergonomics better. An amazing team of real champions. So we're fortunate here today to have you hear from our leader, Lordstown Motors. Please welcome Steve Burns.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. You know, really a proud day for us, but I want to start off by thanking Coach Tressel. What a great value he's been to us, inspirational. He's all about Ohio. I think he knows everybody in Ohio. And when we first approached him with this, a lot of people had a lot of difficulty imagining that a small company could come in and take over a facility like this and make a vehicle that had never been made before. But Coach never batted an eye and has helped us the whole way. And we got big plans for Youngstown State, a lot of those graduates, to funnel down into us as well. And I want to thank Erin from Goodyear. Goodyear is a great partner, as you know. You need good tires, and you're going to see her tires on our truck in a minute. I thought, this is about the truck, and we're going to show you the truck in a minute, and that's the belle of the ball. But I thought I'd just take a minute about how we all came to be here today, right? Why are we in Lordstown, Ohio? Why is the company called Lordstown Motors? Right? And it kind of started when GM announced that they were going to close the plant, and the plant is what drew us here, right? In this plant, you're probably seen 1/50th of it, right? This is 6 million square feet. This is 108 football fields under roof, right? There's thousands of robots in here. There's a whole entire building just for the paint, right? Behind us is the stamping machines that take the raw metal and stamp them into body parts. And I hope if you've never seen an industrial robot before, you get a chance to look at some of the ones that are moving here. They're quite fascinating. But GM did us a great service, right? So GM was exiting the building, but they wanted to continue making cars here or vehicles here. And we promised to do that. And that's really how we got it. But we said, for us to do it in any time this millennium, could you leave it intact? When a building, factories are hard to get. When they are purchased, they're usually gutted. We asked GM to leave this fully intact, still warm from when it made/cruise, right? And that was a big ask, but they did it. And so our job is we don't have to build a plant, populate it with robots. We just have to reconfigure this plant. And that's what we're busy in here doing. And it's going great. We're going to show you a prototype, but next year we will be making the real McCoy, production level out of this plant. Our goal is to be the first electric pickup truck in the world, right? And I think everybody knows the status of pickup trucks in the United States, right? People are buried in their Ford 150. They have such loyalty to it, right? I think everybody's aware of that brand loyalty. But we are coming in with essentially a 75 mile per gallon pickup truck. And for the folks we sell to, fleets, right, cost is king, and we are the least expensive pickup truck. But in the end, it still had to look good. We could automate this factory to the teeth with a great team that we have, but if the vehicle didn't look good, it probably wouldn't sell well. So we had to balance all of that in the design of it. I'm just kind of prepping you for when you see it. It took a great team to do that. So we have, in something like this, an endeavor like this, a world-changing endeavor like this, it takes a team. The whole thing's about team, right? The robots are good, they're a great team member, but the humans are the key, right? So we have been fortunate enough that we've been able to attract just the best of the best, from old school automotive, from new automotive, from battery, from all the people that know how to make these robots sing across the board. So I thought that would be the tough part. I thought it'd be tough to get people to move here, tough to get people to leave a perfectly good job to come to a startup. But the dream is so big that a lot of people wanted to join that dream. And so we've been able to attract, and as the day goes on, if you see anybody in a Lordstown shirt, I encourage you to say hi to them and just get a little feel of the depth of what we have here. All right, so let's talk about the truck for a minute, right? The truck's name is Endurance, right? That name has a kind of a dual meaning, right? It's an electric truck and it goes very far in a charge, and it's a very tough truck, and it's built for people that need tough trucks, and so it can endure. But the people of this valley have endured, right? The grit, that's the only word I can really think of to describe how the workforce is in this part of the world, right? That's why we're here. The factory attracted us here, but this workforce, the toughness of them, the skill set that they have, the work ethic, right? So that really attracted us here. And so the name Endurance on the truck is also for the people that are building this truck, right? If we were going to make a truck that gets 75 miles per gallon equivalent, right? I think everybody probably realizes pickup trucks get about 16 or 17 miles per gallon, right? And they have for 30 years. And that isn't going to change much, right? That's just physics of an internal combustion engine and an automatic transmission and all the routing of the power and differentials and gears and U-joints and drive shafts. It's stuck there for a reason. Physics, you can't, sometimes I try to bend physics, it never works. You cannot bend physics, right? And so they're stuck there. So how do we as a newcomer come out with a truck that gets 75 miles per gallon equivalent? Now when I say equivalent, everybody thinks in terms of miles per gallon. Of course, an electric truck doesn't use gasoline, but the government has an equation to do an equivalency. So how did we do that? Right? We had to build a truck, although it looks like a pickup truck pretty much on the outside, underneath it's like no other truck. And the big innovation we have, our battery is of course very important in a truck this size. But the big innovation we have is something called these hub motors. So there are only 4 moving parts in the drivetrain of this vehicle. And those are the 4 wheels. Just to put that in perspective, a modern day 4-wheel drive pickup truck has thousands of moving parts. pistons, the valves, the crankshaft, the differential, the gears, the drive shaft, the U-joints. Thousands of moving parts. Every moving part has to be lubricated, every moving part can wear, and every moving part is a decrease in efficiency. You got thousands of these little moving parts. And we've perfected it over the years. When you get in your car, it starts and it gets you where you want to go and it does not break down. We have perfected it, but we haven't reinvented it, right? So even a Model T had 700 moving parts in its drivetrain. The simplest vehicle, the Model T. We have 4. So, and if you've never heard of a hub motor, I usually equate it to these lime and the bird scooters that you see in all the cities, right? There isn't a motor on that with a sprocket with a chain going back to the back wheel, right? Those scooters burst upon planet Earth because of the innovation of a hub motor. It made those possible. And we just have very robust and big, tough hub motors. And the software to control those hub motors is unique, right? You have a computer and a very powerful motor on each wheel. And so we boldly claim a few things. We will have the best traction of any pickup truck ever made. We will be the safest pickup truck ever made, right? Of course, we're getting the best fuel economy of any pickup truck ever made. When I say that, we don't say that lightly. We understand the millions of man hours. I don't think there's a way to get a stat on this, but the human endeavor, the human experience, I don't think anything has been engineered as much as the modern day vehicle, right? Our society is built around automotive. So when I say we're the best at this and the best at that, we don't say that lightly. But we are going to be the safest because we don't have a V8 engine in the front and we got a lot of crush area, right? Crush is what saves you in an accident. Our battery is low. Our hub motors put weight literally on the 4 corners on the ground. We handle better than any pickup truck. This handles like a sports car. It's a pickup truck that handles like a sports car. So it's just a reinvention, right? But you know, reinvention at the wrong time, if you're too early or too late, doesn't work. And this is a little bit of luck and providence. We are hitting it at the exact right time, right? Some of the earlier cars that have paved the way for electric, people are starting to believe in electric. Suddenly there's 4 or 5 companies going to come out with electric pickup trucks in several years, right? We're going to beat everyone to market, right? So timing is perfect. We expect, we've already sold. So normally you do not start the sales process until today, when you can drive the vehicle on the stage and people can see it, get a feel for it, drive it, understands its presence, its use case. But we didn't have that luxury. We had to know a little early, before we bought this or before we got too deep into this, would fleets buy an electric pickup truck from a new unknown startup OEM, right? So we started pre-selling. And I think we have our whole year, our first year of production already pre-sold. And we haven't even showed the vehicle yet. If we get lucky, today we might get 5-fold that, you know, people buying online once they see it. So we're very excited. This is probably the biggest moment in a car company, when you unveil it for the first time. And again, when you see it, I ask you to think about it looks like a pickup truck on the outside, but underneath it's like nothing else. So how do you do that? You have some very great design engineers, very great production engineers to build it. It takes almost every discipline you can imagine, right? It's electrical engineers and mechanical engineers, right? But also chemical engineers and just the whole gamut. And you got to sell these things, so it takes a great sales staff, right? And all the things that it takes to. We are standing up a car company from scratch here, and we wanted to have this event in the factory just to give you a little feel for what that means, right? How hard that is. And the last thing I'll say is I think think people expect this kind of innovation to come from the coasts, right? And there's nothing wrong with California. But the Midwest is where cars are made. The Midwest happens to be where most pickup trucks are sold. And so we thought, why should California have all the fun? We think our people can do the same thing or even better. So right here in the heart of the Midwest, in a place, a little bit of irony that this place wasn't known for electrification, right? But it was known for building cars, good cars, high volume. This factory's built for one thing in life, high volume manufacturing of cars. They were putting out about over 400,000 cruises a year here when it was GM. We think we can put out about 600,000 of our vehicles because they're much simpler to assemble, right? Because of the reduced parts. So that's right here in this part of the world, that's quite radical. And what we hope is around here, what typically happens with automotive is for every automotive job, there's 8 ancillary jobs, right? Suppliers start to be close to the factory, so there isn't as much travel time for the parts. Restaurants, hotels, all the things that spring up to support, a village here of all these workers. So we're hoping to encourage all that to happen here. We're calling it the Voltage Valley because we think it has a chance to become the electrification hub of the Midwest, maybe even the country. So we're quite excited about it. I want to thank all the family members that are here that have let us borrow your significant other or your mom or your dad, because I know everybody's been working so hard here, and we'll try to get back to a little more balanced life, because family life is everything. And if you don't have good underpinnings, it won't work. So we've got a great factory, a great team, a great market, and it's just a great time. It's the time. I've been too early and I've been too late in some endeavors. Both are brutal, right? And you can't always control it. We just hit it right. We really think we've hit it right here. And when you see this truck, if it's as good as we think it is, we're going to sell a lot of them. And the name Lordstown, the name of this small town, is going to be on trucks all across the country and maybe even outside the country if we're successful. So I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank God for our country and for our company, and may He continue to bless us. Thanks, everybody. Hello? Okay, thanks, sorry. I get the honor to introduce our next guest. As you can imagine, in something like this, government support is really critical. And we have enjoyed, I think, because who doesn't like jobs? Who doesn't like green? Who doesn't like innovation? Who doesn't like teaching workers the new skills of the next century? So we've just enjoyed a very broad support from all the government leaders, local, state, and federal. We're really fortunate to have the Secretary of Energy with us today. So he is a cabinet appointee, and he runs the Department of Energy, which you can imagine all the things he's got going on, and yet he's been able to take the time to come here because I think he believes in what we're doing, and he understands it, of course, deep down at a molecular level, and we're just really happy to have him here. So please help me welcome the Secretary of Energy, Dan Brouillette. Thanks, man. Thanks.
All right. Congratulations, Lordstown. All right. Steve, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be with you here in what we refer to now as Voltage Valley. And what an honor it is to be here here with our mutual friend, the Vice President of the United States of America. You know, it's always interesting, it's always a pleasure to see American ingenuity at work, especially when it comes to the automobile sector, and even when it comes from a new competitor to my old firm. That firm was also my dad's firm. He was a service manager in a Ford dealership down in Louisiana for a number of years, and I followed him in his work. Although in my case, rather than working in a garage, I worked in a cubicle, moving away some of the regulations that eventually led to the adoption of hybrid cars and now autonomous vehicles. But I also spent some time on the factory floor, so I know the work that went behind this momentous day. Congratulations again. Congratulations on the rollout of the Endurance. Steve, I think what impresses me even more than the technology that went into the truck is the ingenuity and the vision that we have here in this room. On March 6th, just a year ago, the last cruise rolled off the line here in Lordstown. But where other people saw a closed plant, the literal end of the line, you saw an opportunity. And even more, you saw a clear lane for a light-duty, all-electric pickup, and the potential for this area to be an epicenter of EV technology. And you acted on that opportunity. Your team retooled this plant and invested in the people of this community. And in the future, you could be employing thousands of people here, building thousands of Endurances, and perhaps even other EVs. That's going to empower people all around this plant, all around Northeast Ohio, and all across Voltage Valley to fulfill their dreams. And in a real sense, that's also what our team strives to do every day at the U.S. Department of Energy. I'm proud to say that the work at DOE and our 17 national laboratories has been one of the main drivers of innovations in today's transportation technologies. They stem from our fundamental research and development, but they make an impact on the lives of Americans because DOE is one of the largest supporters of technology transfer in the federal government. Last year, Stanley Whittingham and John Goodenough, two researchers that we've supported for much of their distinguished careers, won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for the development of lithium-ion batteries. Their work underpins the same technology that powers the cell phone in perhaps every one of your pockets. It powers the electric vehicles on the road today. And as you'll see in just a few short minutes, the Endurance as well. But we're not done yet. At DOE, we see energy storage as an area that is rife with potential. So this past January, we launched our Energy Storage Grand Challenge with the goal of accelerating the development, commercialization, and importantly, the utilization of energy storage technologies, as well as sustaining and advancing America's leadership in this vital area. We're also going to secure the supply of materials used to build and power even more EVs. Many of the technologies at work in this plant today, and so many others around the country, rely on critical minerals and rare earth elements. That includes the EV batteries that we just discussed, as well as the computers, the TV screens, and some of the robotics that you see on the other side of these beautiful walls here. And here, the United States is facing an acute supply chain vulnerability. Today, we are import reliant on 31 of the 35 critical minerals. And that means our imports are greater than half of our annual consumption. We rely on China for 80% of our rare earth elements. And there are 14 critical minerals that we don't produce domestically at all. We're going to do everything that we can to address these vulnerabilities and ensure that you have the materials you need to build the Endurance and other American EVs. As we speak, my department is researching ways to identify and extract critical minerals and rare earth elements from untapped sources, such as our vast coal reserves here in America. Some 5 million metric tons of critical minerals could come from the recoverable reserves in Appalachia, with even more from our basins on the western half of the Mississippi. So despite our current challenge, I'm optimistic that even as we've seen America drive toward independence in energy, one day we will also be celebrating a critical minerals Independence Day. President Trump, Vice President Pence, and indeed our entire administration understand that the heartbeat of our nation's greatness is America's manufacturing. We are determined to protect American workers and to ensure that you have the secure, abundant energy that you need to dare, to drive, and to dream. We have a wide open road ahead of us. So let's take that highway, let's build that bright future right here in Lordstown, throughout the Voltage Valley, and all across our great nation. Thank you.